Hello, everyone. It is Brenda here for Stamplicity, and welcome to What's Up Wednesday. All right, this evening we're gonna have lots of fun with the new Hero Arts Big Mouth Nutcracker. This thing cracks me up, and I no pun intended, but it really is an effective die. So basically, it's an interactive die. Um, and there we go. That's what it does. I just love it, right? Super fun, super easy to put together. However, it's always easier when you have a tutorial on how to put it together. So I thought I would do it this evening. We're going to do it twice. We're going to do a traditional nutcracker like you see here, and then we'll do more kind of softer colors to show you that you can mix and match it up. All right. So that is where we're going this evening. And I am super excited to show you how this is made. I just love this guy. I'm not even a person that loves nutcrackers. I know that there are lots of people out there that love nutcrackers at Christmas time, but I do love this interactive card. Now, the cool thing about this is that Hero Arts came out with this, and it is a bundle. All right. So let me just pull out the dies here. I don't have the official packaging here because I got prototypes. Um, but this is a bundle deal that you can get right now. And it consists of this one here, which is the base die. All right. This is the base die, the base mechanism for the up and down movement of that mouth. So we have that. And then we have the Nutcracker add-on. So this is all the decor pieces that will make it into a Nutcracker. Now, Hero Arts is planning to create more add-on dies to the base die, all right, based on this up and down motion that the die creates. And when we were sitting in class in Las Vegas with Hero Arts when they were presenting this, we were coming out with so many ideas of what they can do with this. So hopefully they wrote everything down, and we will see more add-ons to this die. All right. So I think it's going to be just a fun die to have in our collection. And honestly, like just a fun die to our card to get, a very interactive one. All right. So I'm going to create this, and I'm going to be pairing it with one of the stamp sets from Hero Arts, and I don't know the name of this one. It's a Little Nuts, it's called. And it's got some really great Nutcracker sayings on there. It also has a Nutcracker image there. I know it's hard to see because I don't have it lined up properly. It's got some crackers there, and then some fun stuff as well. This also has a matching die to go with it. So I'm going to be using some of the sentiments on our Big Mouth Nutcracker from this set here. All right. So let's get started. All right. So let's just talk about what we need to do to get started to build up our interactive mechanism. All right. So like I said, this is the base die. There's 3 dies to this, and it really doesn't look like much, but this is what makes that sliding motion. Really easy to put together. All right, so you're going to have your kind of outline die here. All right, so you can see that one there. Then you're going to have this one here, and this is actually what I'm going to refer to as the bottom lip. All right, this is the part that slides in between underneath and creates that movement. All right, that is this piece here. And then this little piece here, it's kind of a weird little U-shaped die. This is going to create the cutout for that mouth, that bottom lip. All right, so let's show you how it all goes together. All right, so in my little stash here. All right, so what we're going to do is I have 3 pieces of white cardstock here. One is going to be my card front. All right, so one is going to be a card front. We're actually going to stamp the sentiment on there. So if I slide this down, that white piece that you see behind here is going to be this piece right here. All right. Then I have 2 more pieces of white cardstock. Now you can use whatever color cardstock you want. No one is going to see this. We are going to actually build the frame, and that's this larger piece that will be underneath everything here. All right, the frame is in there. Again, it doesn't matter what color cardstock you use. I'm just using white because I have lots of it, but you can use, those colors you don't like. Just saying. All right, so what you need to do is you need to cut 2 of these out of cardstock. All right, 2 of these. One is not going to give you enough dimension for the sliding mechanism. We need to have 2 of these, all right? So we're gonna cut 2 of these. So I'm gonna line this up. This is actually the same size as an A2 card. I cut my panel, my white cardstock in quarters, and you can see that it fits nicely on there. I'm gonna run it through my die cut machine. My die cut machine is just to the right here. Um, so I'm just going to go ahead and die cut 2 of these. Now I'm using 110-pound cardstock. That is my go-to, my Nina 110 Solar White. You can use 80-pound, that's fine. I am going to tape this down so it doesn't move because I have my paper cut to the exact size. So we're just going to tape that down and we're going to die cut that. I know you can't really see me die cutting, but I am doing it. You hear the cracking. All right. So when we die cut that, all right, this is what's going to be, this is the piece we need. This is excess. All right, don't throw that away. There's a lot of whole good white cardstock on there. So you're just going to put that to the side. So we need to keep this one. And then we're going to cut a second piece. All right, so a second frame. So as Hero Arts brings out more add-ons, we will continue showing you what you can do with them. Just so that if you make the investment in this, we will continue educating you on the new add-ons and doing what we need to do to make them to show you what to do with them. All right. So, all right. So there's my second one. So that's using the frame. You need 2 of those. Okay. So I'm just going to put that to the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these together. Now my one shifted, but that's okay. It's all good. They will still match up. I have a little bit of, but it doesn't matter. All right. You just want to make sure the inner edges are all lined up, which it does. I'm okay if I'm a little short on the top. No problem there. No one's going to see that. I can't wait to see the add-ons either, Becca. Becca has says I can't wait to see the add-ons. I can't wait to see either. We gave them a ton of ideas, and they're like, "Oh, we never thought of that." Then so I cannot wait to see what they come up with because we were having so much fun with this. All the different. I thought for Halloween there would be some really great monster ones. Would be great. I think these are great for kids. Well, I think they're great for adults as well, but I think the kids will get a kick out of these ones. All right, so I just glued that together. All right, so they are lined up. All right, so now we have some substance to this frame, and we're just going to let that glue set. I'm going to put that to the side, and let's talk about the other dies in there. All right, so that's just going to the side here. All right, so we have our frame, we have our base. All right, then we have this piece here. Now, like I said, this is kind of like the bottom lip. That's the piece that's going to slide in there. Is this one underneath the beard that's moving up and down. So this one here, I'm going to cut out a skin tone, and I'm just using a light blush color. Now, I've already done that. There's nothing special about this one, so I've already die cut this one. All right, so I've just cut it out of a skin tone color. And this is blush from Spellbinders. All right, so I've cut that one out. All right, so we've done that one. And then this piece here is the kind of the mouth opening. All right, so that's going to enable this piece to slide. You can see that we have an opening here in the same kind of shape. All right, so this one here, you are going to use on whatever your base of your face is going to be. Okay, whatever you decide what color to use. I'm going to match it up with that blush color. All right, so I have a skin tone here, and I'm going to use this piece here. So this is just a matter of eyeballing it, all right? You're going to line up the open edge to the bottom of your panel here, all right? So I am going to tape this down so that it doesn't move on me. And if you are, team ruler, then go ahead, measure it out. I am team eyeball, and I am just going to eyeball this. I'm going to center this as best I can, matching up those little ends. I've got the die just going past the edge of the paper, just ever so slightly. And then I'm going to tape that down. All right. So if I hold that up, I think I've centered that pretty good. All right. And I'm going to run that through the die cut machine. Becca Ann says Frankenstein. Yes, that was one of the suggestions, Frankenstein, right? That would definitely, because it's got a square shape to it, right? So it would be perfect. All right. So just keep up the ideas, guys. If you come up with ideas, I will forward them on to Hero Arts. I will, because we want more of these. I just love the how easy this is to put together, and I love the interactive feature of this. All right. So we've got those now. So this little piece that we've cut out is scrap, all right? It's not this piece we want to keep. We want to keep this piece here, all right? So I'm going to move that there. I'm going to put my die there. And now we are ready to put this together, essentially. I mean, it's just getting that frame together, getting the movable piece, and the overlay. There's 3 pieces to this. That's it, all right? All right, so we have our base. What we're going to do is we're going to take our frame, all right, and we're going to glue this down, and it will match exactly, all right? It's going to line up to the left, top, right, and bottom. The bottom is the area that's got the opening, all right? So let's go ahead and glue this down. You could use adhesive. I'm going to use glue. That is my go-to. And again, we doubled this up just to give it that extra height, just to make that sliding work even better. All right, so let's get that on. Okay. I think I am good. So Hero Arts is giving you a little bit of whoopsie room as well. Oh, a pumpkin face would be good too, Becca, and I missed that one. All right, so there is that. All right, so we've got that on there. All right, and now we can see the dimension just with the 2 frames on there. All right, next we are going to put in this piece here. All right, this piece will fit right in here, and it will slide up and down in this cavity. All right, do you see how that works? It gives you like a little spacing in there if you did not get things lined up properly. And these little legs at the bottom are the stoppers. Okay. Could you use white foam instead of cutting 2 white pieces? That's a great idea, Aaron Cater. Yes, you could. Yes, you could. So Spellbinders has that kind of fun foam um, product, and that would work just as well. Yes, it will. All right. So good idea. I love it. All right, so this is going to be where this slides up and down. So we're not going to do anything. We're just placing it in there. We're just making sure it is in between the 2 edges of the frame and fits in there. It's not overlapping or anything. We're not touching it down or tacking it down or anything. It's just going to be like that. All right. Then this piece now is going to go over top. So when we adhere this down, we are only putting adhesive on the frame and the frame only. Now, if you are an overgluer, and you know who you are, glue is probably not your friend for this technique. You would definitely want to use a double-sided tape. All right. Now, I'm not an overgluer, so I'm very good about my glue. So I'm going to go ahead and put a line of glue on the frame. All right. But if you are an overgluer, you would use your adhesive. All right, now this is going to get lined up. Now everything is cut as an A2 panel. All right, so everything is going to line up nicely. All right, so once I have that lined up, I'm going to give it a burnish, making sure everything is adhered where it needs to be. All right, this piece here, it will slide. Oopsie. Did I put glue at the? I did. Hang on. I did not burnish it well enough that it just went right past the glue there. All right. I'm going to give a second for that glue to dry. All right. So there is that. I'm just going to leave that to let the glue dry, and then we're going to come back to this. This piece is still moving up and down. That's the way we want it to do. All right. That is the moving mouth. All right. But I'm going to let that glue tack down. And let's talk about the add-on die. All right, so this is the Nutcracker add-on die. As you can see, there's lots of different components on here. What I love about that, it's not highly detailed, it's not really small, it's all big pieces, which is lovely, right? So everything is pretty straightforward when you look at this die, except for this one here. And we've had a few people that have bought this die and wondered what the heck these are, because it cuts out 6 little triangles. So that is actually the stopper. So I'm going to bring my finished card up here. And where his beard is, all right, that's kind of like the little pull tab, all right. Now, if I pull this off, I know you're all going, that is where those little triangles are. Now, you could use an adhesive foam, but this triangle actually fits the groove so nicely in his little costume here. That's what it is. It is actually the stopper, all right. That's what that is. I'll glue that back on, all right. So while my panel is drying and the glue is drying, I'm going to grab those 6 little triangles and I'm going to glue them together. Like I said, you could use a foam adhesive, especially if you had a large square foam adhesive, and then you could just angle it. But I'm just going to use what they provided us. I love the fact that Spellbinder thinks of these things and gives you all the tools you need. All right. So if you did not have foam adhesives at home or the large foam adhesives, you could just use what you have, and you could use scrap pieces of cardstock to create the stopper. You won't see the stopper. You could cut this in any color you want. And it goes together really easy. I mean, it's just 6 little triangles you're going to stack on top of one another. Not difficult at all. All right. So you just want to make sure they're somewhat lined up. All right. So let's just do that. So that is done. And then we'll get into the decorating part. All right, so that's 3. Whoop, whoop. Keeps on flipping over on me. All right, while I'm doing this, I'm going to check comments. Hello, hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me this evening. And thanks to everyone on the rewatch as well. I know most people find us on the rewatch. Life gets in the way. I totally get that. All right. Okay, so my 6 are put together. All right, so there is that. And that is my stopper. So you can see how thick that is. All right. And that's just going to give it enough substance for the recipient to have that thing to grab onto. They can get their fingers underneath it. All right. So that is that. So we're going to let that set. Okay. Now, before we go any further, I think I'm going to stamp my my sentiment. So to do your sentiment, you're going to pull the kind of moving piece down all the way. All right. So I have it pulled down all the way. It's not going to come out because of the little legs that are at the bottom. They are the stoppers. They're going to stop that from coming in. So I have this little space to stamp in. So I'm going to grab my stamp platform. And let's stamp our sentiment in there. Now I'm going to use the, oh my goodness, I got ink all over me. Where did that ink come from? Oh my gosh, never fails. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to make sure things are covered on him. Oh, that's so sad. I wonder if it's on the magnet. It's probably on the magnet. Never fails. Okay. I'm just gonna put one magnet down. Okay. So there's some really great things in here. Hope your holiday is all it's cracked up to be. Things are getting a little nuts around here during the holidays. Let's have a cracking Christmas. Son of a nutcracker. It's Christmas. Peace, love, and pecans. Nutcracker is my favorite season. No pecan till Christmas, or some of the sayings on here, which is awesome. But I'm going to use the Hope Your Holiday is all cracked up, that sentiment. So I have my panel in there. I'm going to place that in that opening. All right, so just center it uh, left to right. And I'm happy with that. Now this is a brand new stamp. I have not used it. So I'm going to get my conditioning eraser and just condition that stamp. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp it in black. Okay, so this is not my good ink. I have two VersaFine Clairs, and one needs to be really inked, and that was the one I used first. All right. So this one is much better. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that. All right. So that's going to be our little sentiment that will be revealed when the Nutcracker opens his mouth. Okay. So I'm happy with that. It looks good. So I'm going to put my stamp away so I don't lose it. And let's carry on now on the decorating. Right? I'm loving these ideas. Aaron says, what about a grad student with a hat? Love it. All right, just keep them coming, guys. If you come up with ideas, I will send a list to I say spellbinders, but spellbinders and hero arts are now one. So I will send them the list. All right, so just keep them coming. Okay, so we have our sentiment in there. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is add his teeth. All right, so there's a die that does all the teeth right here. And I have to make note, if you have this die, I'm just going to give you just a little um, tip here. There are the top two and the bottom two teeth that are in the center here. They're a little bit wider than the rest of the teeth. All right. And then when you place these, make sure they're all going horizontal and not vertical. Otherwise, they're not going to fit. So I'm going to get my top teeth. So you're going to have one small, two small, and then one wide, one wide, one small, and one small. So that's going to be one row of teeth, and that should fit along the edge of this little cutout here. All right. So I'm going to start from one side. All right, we're going to put the first one here, a little dab of glue, and we're going to line that right up to this edge of this cutout. All right. So we got one there. Then I'm going to go to the opposite side and put that one down. And this is where you want to make sure things are straight. We were laughing in class when we were doing this. We're like, oh, it'd be so funny if they had braces or put bling on them. Oh, we could really have some fun with this. All right, I'm going to just keep on building. There is just a small spacing between each of the teeth. Like, it is super tiny. Okay. Once you do one of these, you'll understand the spacing. It's always the first one that's a little awkward. All right, so just spacing that one out just a little bit more. All right. All right, so there's our top row of teeth. All right, so there we go. There's that. Okay, before we go any further, I gotta see if I can get this ink off because it's just driving me nuts. So we're just gonna use this as a teachable moment, everyone. If you've never heard of a sand eraser, meet sand eraser, all right? This will remove ink, but you have to be gentle, all right? So basically, it's kind of a coarse eraser. And if you go ever so lightly on your paper, you will eventually remove that ink. Now, you might not remove it all, but it's going to be a lot better than when we started. So I'm just going to use that right now because I cannot believe I got ink on here and it's driving me nuts. So let me just take the time to remove my ink. If you don't have one of these in your stash, you need it. I'm just saying. This is a lifesaver for me because I get ink everywhere. I don't understand. I wasn't even playing with ink and I still got ink on my sample here. All right, so I am okay. There we go. Whew, much better. I still have a faint little bit there, but I think it'll be covered. A dinosaur. I love it. Oh my gosh, Jackie, I love that idea. So just keep them coming. Keep them coming. All right. So that is my top row of teeth. Now I'm going to push up that movable piece here, and I'm going to push it up until it goes no further. It's going to be butt up against the top teeth there. And now we're going to put our bottom teeth. All right. And they're going to get lined up right on the edge of this piece here. All right. So we're going to do the same thing, glue, and then I just like to get that as close as possible so that I can match these teeth up, that they line up. I like that idea, Bea. They should have been. It would have made it a lot easier, but I'm sure they had their reasoning as to why. Bea says they should be lined up. They should be all one piece rather than individual. And I could not agree more. But, I'm sure they had their reasonings. Their reasoning. All right. 2 more. And the last one. This is probably the hardest part of this whole interactive card is the teeth and getting them lined up. Okay, once you have them on, then you still want to make sure that this piece is still moving, and it is. We have not glued it in place, but now we have our teeth. Woo, chomp, 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 chomp. So, all right, so there's that. Okay, so let's go ahead and build our Nutcracker now. All right, so this is his kind of little uniform. All right, so it's got the little, it's going to go right on top. Well, now, when you glue this down, you don't want to glue in here. All right, you just want to glue the outer edges. So when you are putting this together, you will notice that there are kind of like 2 little cut lines to mimic his arms. All right, so you're just actually going to put glue or adhesive on those longer areas on the side of him. Glue there only and only there. Don't put it anywhere else. And this is going to get lined up to the bottom. All right, again, if you put glue on the bottom of it, it's not going to slide. I'm just going to say this becomes a little cavity for this to slide in, and we don't want to restrict that. All right. So, all right. So that is on. All right. So far, so good. All right, let's decorate his little uniform now. So we have little shoulder pads, and I just cut them out of red cardstock. And these are going to get lined up, all right? So they're easy to place. Like I said, we're going to do this one a more traditional colored one. An elf would be super cute too, Jackie. See, the ideas are flowing. All right, so there are our shoulder pads. And then there's some decorative elements, all right? The little trim, and I cut this out of gold because I thought, you know what, that just makes sense to have gold trim. And again, it just lines up. So it really makes it easy to put together. All right, we'll put this one over here. All right, so our trim is on. All right, then we have the little trim that's going to go on his chest here. So I cut that out of gold as well. So we're just going to center that left to right. And there are two of these. Okay, so there is that. Now we're not going to worry about his beard quite yet. We're going to work on the top of him now. So let's work on his hat. This is his hat. And I cut it out as red as well. And this is going to get butt up to the top edge. All right, the top end, it will go left to right as well. Everything matches up, which I love. Okay, then the kind of the visor of this hat, I did in gold as well. And that is going to line up right on here. My A2 panel is just slightly a little bit bigger, so I will trim that off. But there's that. Then, of course, there's a little gold star or medallion to go on the top, in the middle of his top of his hat. So we just cut that out. So we're just going to center that in as best we can. All right, starting to take form. All right, then we have what is his hair. All right, so these are these jagged little pieces here. And they're going to fit in between the hat and the shoulder pads. So I'm going to connect it to the hat. It's going to cover up my little whoopsie moment with ink. You don't want it having it extend past the card. All right, so I'm just having it lined up right to the edge of my A2. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. This one I'm going to bring in because I'm going to trim just a little bit off of it. All right, so there is our lovely hair. Tooth fairy with missing tooth. I love it, Kelly. I love it. That's funny. Okay. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is his eyeballs. All right. So you got two eyeballs, these round circles, and then the pupils in black. So let's put those together. And these just get centered in. An owl. What about an owl? That'd be kind of cool. All right, those are his eyes. All right, so we have those. All right, where am I going to go next? I think, oh, maybe I'll put the eyeballs on. Let's get them done. We just thought googly eyes on here would be great as well. All right, so we're gonna put his eyes. I'm gonna go one right there. You gotta leave room for his eyebrows. And one. think they're straight. All right. There's his eyeballs. All right, let's put his nose. Now, on my original, they had us cut out with a kind of a darker, kind of corally pink color. I just want one color darker than our blush. I think this is actually called coral. So I just did the coral. And I'm just going to stick that between his eyes evenly as best I can. All right. Then we have his little kind of cheeks here, and I just did them in the same color as his nose. So they're going to go on the outer. Okay, so there's that. Then we can put his mustache on, and you'll notice I'm not using any foam adhesive on this. No foam adhesive. All right, so I'm going to place it under his nose. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. He's coming to life now, right? All right, eyebrows. Now, depending on how you put his eyebrows, he could be very mean. We'll put him so he's happy. Oh, Glenna. Glenna says you could create a reveal baby shower card. That'd be kind of cool. Kelly says a frog, right? The ideas are now flowing. All right. Okay, so he's all decorated. The last thing we have to do now is his beard. All right. So I'm going to make sure everything is still a go here. I got, oh, look. All right, so I'm going to grab this and now I'm going to bring this down. All right. And I want this to stop before the teeth kind of go behind the panel here. So I'm just going to position it. There we go. So that the teeth are not going to fall behind this. And I'm going to go ahead and take my little stacked triangles here, and I'm going to put some adhesive here, and then I'm going to stick this right in that groove and butt it up to the blue. All right. So I've just butted it up there, and then I'm just going to pull this up now so I can play around with it. All right, so I'm just going to let that glue just set for a second there. And now I can take my beard and now we can attach it. So all I'm going to do is put a little bit of adhesive on that stacked triangle. And then I'm going to position my beard, or my goatee, I guess, just right underneath the teeth there. All right, centering it. And then I'm just going to hold it just for it to adhere. A talking car. Oh my gosh, you guys are coming out with some really great ideas. Leprechaun. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so that is glued down now. I don't, let's see. Yes, okay, so I'm going to be gentle. All right, so now you can pull the beard. There's enough room to get your fingers underneath it because we've stacked all those triangles together. And that's what I mean. Having those stacked triangles rather than using a foam adhesive, it goes a little bit thicker. And then that is going to, and it will only go so far now. So we can see our sentiment. It's all good. And the teeth are not going underneath the uniform. And there is our little Nutcracker. How cute is that? Oh, let me bring it down a little bit. All right, so how sweet is that? All right, pretty cool, right? Love it. All right, so we're gonna create another one. All right, so this one I did more traditional colors. All right, while I just have this out, I'm just gonna glue my beard back on this one because I ripped it off. And so he can be complete. All right, so he's complete. All right, so there's our traditional nutcracker. Let's do a second one. The second one, I don't have to do all the instructions because and I have everything die cut already. So let's put this one together. This one here I did in pinks and teals. I just thought that was kind of fun. All right, so we have our base here. Oh, I just lost all the teeth. That would be funny. All right, so again, I cut 2 of those frames. We're going to glue those together. I wanted to do 2 just to show you that once you have one done, honestly, putting these together are really easy to do. So if you wanted to make this as your Christmas card, you could just really make this into kind of an assembly line very easily. All right, so there's that. We're going to go ahead and glue this onto our card panel. All right, so that's done. Then we have our movable piece. We're going to insert that in there. All right, that's on there. And then we are going to take our overlay. We've already cut the insert out. And this one here, we are just gluing the frame. All right, do not glue anywhere else. If you are an over gluer, you are going to use adhesive, tape adhesive tape. All right, so we're going to line this one up. I like using liquid glue because if I don't get something in place right, I have the opportunity to slide it. All right, that's in place. So I'm just going to burnish that. All right, well, that's just drying. Let's go and do our little triangle stoppers. A penguin. I love this. Oh my gosh, you guys are so full of ideas. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so 6 little triangles. And again, this is going to go really, really quick. Keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming, the ideas. I will compile a list. All right, so there's our little stacked triangle, all neat and complete there. All right, we're gonna let that dry. We're gonna go ahead and stamp our sentiment on here because our glue should be set now. All right, so let's get the stamping platform out. Let's try not to get ink everywhere this time. This time I grabbed a different one. Okay, so let's grab another sentiment here. So, things get a little nuts around here during the holidays. That is perfect because it does. All right, so that's going to fit in there quite nicely. So let me get it lined up. We're good there. Again, I haven't used this one here, so I am going to condition the stamp. Okay, we're good to go. Everything's lined up. Give it a little pressure. Awesome. Okay, so we got that. Okay, let's go ahead and decorate this. So I did this with different colors this time. Like I said, I did more teals and pinks. All right, so let's start. Oh, his teeth first. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot his teeth. Okay, so I'm going to, actually, I'm going to do things a little bit different. I'm going to put little dots of glue on here and place. I put 7 dots of glue for 6 teeth. That's so smart. Good thing my glue dries clear. All right, I really got to clean up this glue. I got a little crazy with the glue. Like I said, when you put the teeth on, you want to make sure that you have the smaller ones on the outside and then the wider ones. Did I put a wide one there? I don't know now. Nope, that's a wide one there. All right. Okay, so there is my top row of teeth. Okay, there they go. All right, now I'm going to close this up. And now we're going to do this bottom row of teeth. And this time I'm going to center my glue in the right spots. Like I said, this is probably the worst part of it all, is getting these teeth placed. I'm going to check comments in a second. I'm concentrating. Sunlight. I'm sorry, the sunlight's coming through my window. I haven't hung up my new blind in my studio yet. And I don't want to complain about the sun, but it's beaming through. It's so nice. All right, so there's my teeth. They're on. Ah, there we go. Okay, so now they are on. We're going to go ahead and put our uniform on. And again, we're only going to put it on the arms, the adhesive on the arms. Okay. That's going to line right up. I love it. You guys are coming up with some really great Cookie Monster, Shark, Dracula, card for the dentist. That would be awesome. Okay, so that's our uniform. Let's put his hat on. All right, and now the decorative elements. So I cut some out of gold and some out of pink, but what I want to do is I want to kind of do a double duty here. All right. So I'm going to offset things just so that we can have pink and gold, because I couldn't make up my mind. All right, so I have the gold strip and then I have the pink strip, and we're just going to offset it. And then we'll put that on. All right, so now we have just that thin little bit of gold on there, which I think is a nice little detail. I know the sun is reflecting off of it, but there we go. And we're going to do the same thing with his little shoulder pads as well. So let me get his shoulder pads on. And then I have pink and gold as well to trim him out. I'm working on an event, projects for an event, and it's working with a lot of teals and pinks. And I think I'm just in that color scheme now for Christmas. Um, so that's why I chose these colors. All right, so they fit on nicely. Those are his shoulder pads. All right, so let's get his little trim. So we have a gold and a pink, and again, we're gonna offset these because Brenda couldn't make up her mind. I just gotta make sure I have this going the right way, that they're both offset the same way, because that would be not good. All right, let's get these little guys on. Would have been much easier if I just made a decision, but I think that having the offset will look kind of cool. Just adds another dimension, some fanciness to it. All right, so you can see the offset little trim there. Okay, then we're gonna offset his little decorative chest pieces as well. Because why not? They all cut out together at the same time, so we have them. Okay, we'll let that one set. All right. Almost there, guys. Almost there. I know I'm adding extra little steps here doing the offsetting, but I think it'll be worth it. Okay, let's glue these on. Oh yeah, that offset with the gold. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Just have a little bit of excess glue there. I'm gonna just clean up. Okay, so there's that. On his hat here, we are just gonna put the gold medallion. We're not gonna offset anything. We're gonna put that in the center. All right. Let's do his eyes next. Next little bit should go quicker. All right, let's finish him off now. All right, so one eyeball there. And then one eyeball there. Let's do his nose next. I gotta make sure I leave room for his mustache. Okay, let's do his little hair on the sides now. So I went with lighter hair on him because we had lighter colors. All right, mustache. I'm going to bend his mustache up a little bit to give him some dimension. All right, eyebrow. Oh, I forgot his little cheeks. His rosy cheeks. Oh, I didn't leave enough room. Okay, we're going to leave his rosy cheeks off. I put his eyes down a little too low. No room for the rosy cheeks. Okay, and let's put his eyebrows on. All right, Glenna, can you update us on the road? I'm assuming you are referring to the road outside our store. Okay, well, they're going to start paving soon. It should be, they're going to pave on Monday, and it should be open by midweek, I think. I hope. I don't know. I lose faith in the construction people out there. They're doing their job. They really are. They ran into a problem. For those that don't know, we've been off and on for the last like 6, 7 months. Our road that we're on, Clarence Street, has been under construction for the last 7 months. It has been closed for the majority of the time, which has been a real awful thing because it decreases our foot traffic because there's no parking and it's just an inconvenience. But the end is near. The end is near. So by next week, we should have the road back open. Sidewalks are all done. They're beautiful. They planted the trees along the road this week. They put the garbage cans back on. It looks beautiful. It really does. But we're just frustrated. That's all. Okay, there is Mr. Nutcracker in kind of the softer colors. All right, let's put his beard on here. So I'm just going to position it so that these teeth just stop right underneath the sentiment there, and just making sure that that is straight. I'm going to go ahead and take my little triangle, and we are going to put adhesive there and just fit it into that little V groove there. All right, that's our little stopper. This way our teeth will stop just under the sentiment. All right, and now I'm just going to push that up just a little bit. And then I'm going to put the adhesive on, and let's stick our beard on. All right, so and our little pastel Nutcracker is now done. Okay, so let me bring the two out. I'm going to let the glue set on this one. All right, so here is this guy here in the more traditional colors. And now this one here, he does not have his rosy cheeks, but I did him in more non-traditional colors. And there he is. I'm just going to make sure that glue is dry here. And I just love the little sentiments underneath there, and super, super fun. All right, so there we go. The Big Mouth Nutcracker interactive die from Hero Arts. Super fun, easy to do, not much like, there's not a lot of finicky stuff, right? So, and hopefully, there will be add-ons soon. All right, I know they're working on it, but hopefully we'll see something soon in the next couple months. So, in order to get the interactive piece, that it comes with a Nutcracker right now. I'm sure it will become as a separate piece down the road, but right now it is just with the Nutcracker. All right, so that is the Big Mouth Nutcracker interactive die. How fun is that? Super fun for the holidays. Ah! So that's it for me tonight, everyone. All right. Thanks for joining me, everyone, on the live and on the replay. And these are available now. You can find them under the July releases on our website. That's it for me this evening. A quick and short one tonight. So until next week, everyone, have yourself a wonderful week. And we'll see you next week for What's Up Wednesday.